What you're about to see is a compilation of several short little videos that I took today during the day on my first day of chemo. And then I'll come back at the end and do a summary. All right, so it is Thursday morning, February 20th, 2020, and I actually came in for office hours. Whoa, look at the difference in lighting. Okay, so I'm at Point University right now, Savannah campus. Somebody's about to come in the door. She may not want to be on camera. So you'll just see this is our faculty workroom, and I'm actually here making copies so that I can go teach a class this morning at Savannah Christian Preparatory School and then a class at Benedictine Military School. English 102 first and then Spanish 102. So I'm just going to keep filming tiny snippets off and on during the day, and then especially when I'm doing chemo, I'll share with you guys how that's done and how it feels and how it's going, and then I'll edit it all together tonight. Okay? More soon. Okay, so I didn't film when I left the office or at Savannah Christian, and I'm not going to film here at Benedictine either. I'm not going to film my students because I don't really want to get into any kind of legal issues with having students in my videos. But I am here at Benedictine Military School, where I'm going to go teach my Spanish class. The temperature's dropping, it's windy. I think I can probably show you like palm trees up behind here. It's very bleak and gray. It's a windy day. There's evil yellow pollen on the top of my van that I'm sure you can see there. And I'm actually getting excited to teach this class and then to go to Low Country Cancer Care and get hooked up for chemo. So I will probably video some more when I leave here to head over to chemo, and I'll definitely video during chemo. Bye. Okay, this is the Nancy N. and J.C. Lewis Cancer Pavilion. This is where I am coming for chemo. It is 12:56, and I am going to walk in now. This is where I will be every other week for a while, and then every week, and I will film more in a little bit. Okay, now I'm in the infusion room, and I'm in a nice big comfy chair. You can see that. And there are a whole bunch of other people in here also getting infusions of various kinds. So I will film a little more in a few minutes. Bye. Okay, so this is a trigger warning now because I'm going to show you where my port is going to be, or is. It's right here. And a nice nurse named Zach is about to pull off some of my steri strips so he can access my port. I don't think I'm going to film that part. We'll see. Excellent. Okay, I have now had my port accessed by Zach, who is my nurse. He's very nice and very competent, knows his stuff, and he covered it up. This is the shirt that my brother and his wife, David and Audrey, bought me, and so I can just unzip it and have port access. He's going to run my blood counts, and then I'm going to start my first chemo. Okay, so now I'm actually hooked up to some medicine that they're giving me before they start the actual chemo drugs. It's an anti-nausea medication and a steroid. I have my feet up. I'll have to have somebody take a picture of my chemo socks so that I can add that in here. And that is all that's going on right now. This should be about 20 minutes of the pre-drugs and then pre-meds, I guess they call them. And then they will actually start my chemo, which will take 20 minutes for one of the drugs and 40 minutes for the other. Okay, well, I'm comfy. I'm listening to music. There are other people in here going through very similar things to what I'm going through. Here's my IZ pole. Let's see if I'm getting it on there. Yep. This current medication goes in red, and it comes out red too, apparently. I guess I don't need to really update you guys on that. Anyway, I have now had some medicine for nausea, some steroids, and I'm finished with the infusion of my first chemo drug, and then they're going to start another one, which will take at least 45 minutes before I'm done for the day. So they just hung up my last chemo drug. It's up there. It's called Cytoxan, also known as cyclophosphamide, and it's going to take about 45 minutes to infuse, and then when it's done, I'm not sure exactly. I think I meet with the doctor and talk to the nurses about some stuff and ask them my questions, and then I'll edit all of these videos together, and you'll be able to be watching this later tonight. So my first chemo is almost done, and then they have to put this little machine thing on me that will deliver medicine about a day from now. I'll explain that once I get home and record more of a longer video. But look, as always, the inimitable Charlotte Carpenter is here with me. That beep, the beep means it's done. So I'll fill you in more later. Okay, so now you've seen all my little short videos from during the day. It actually went really, really well. The nurses at Dr. Yanucci's office in the infusion room are wonderful. The guy that was taking care of me, Zach, was knowledgeable and gentle and kind, and he just did a great job. After I was done with all of my infusions, I was able to drive myself home. My mother-in-law was there with me, but I felt totally fine, and I was kind of amazed at that. I just want to do a summary, basically, of what they did today. First, they gave me some what they call pre-meds, which was an anti-nausea medication and a steroid, and then for about 20 minutes, and then they hooked up and did another anti-nausea medication for another 20 minutes. And then there was a little break, and then I had the adriamycin, which is dark red, and that took about 25 minutes to infuse. So at that point, between waiting in the waiting room and getting weighed and picking a chair and getting ice and water out of their machine that has chewy ice, and all of that, I had already been there probably an hour and a half, close to 2 hours at that time, because there's always time in between the different infusions. And then I had the Cytoxan that was infused for about 45 or 50 minutes. And then Charlotte came back and was sitting with me during that time because some chairs had emptied out, and she had gotten there, I don't know, probably 3:45, 4 o'clock. Then afterwards, they put this thing on me. Some of you may know what this is. This is actually a little tiny infuser for Neulasta, which is a drug that will, medicine that will make my body produce more white blood cells so that my white blood cell count won't drop as low as it would otherwise. They put it on you, and about 3 minutes later it goes crazy beeping and clicking, and then all of a sudden you feel like you've been stuck with a needle. It's a little tiny subcutaneous needle with a catheter on it, and they'll do this after each of these first 4 rounds of chemo that I'm having every other Thursday. And so tomorrow evening, well, it's awake right now. I think there's a green light beeping on it, and you can see it right here, I think. Apparently tomorrow evening it will suddenly wake up even more, and it'll start beeping and everything, and then over 45 minutes it will infuse Neulasta into my body. Neulasta has a known side effect of bone pain. So I may be in some bone pain over the weekend. Now they told me to take Claritin every morning, and that helps a lot with that. So far, I feel pretty good. A friend of ours brought over food for dinner. Well, one friend sent the food and another friend brought it, and between the two of them, they provided a meal for us tonight and enough leftovers for tomorrow night. Another friend brought over a bowl of fruit, so I've been eating fruit, and just in the last few minutes I started to feel a little bit sick to my stomach. So I went ahead and took an oral Zofran, and I'm really hoping that I don't start throwing up tonight. I would really, really like to be able to go teach my 2 classes tomorrow morning at Savannah Christian. So if you're praying for me, please pray that I'll be able to go teach those 2 classes, and then I can come home and crash and just basically lie in bed or sit on the couch all weekend long. If I have to get a sub for tomorrow, I will. My students will understand, but I would rather not, just because I like teaching and it energizes me, and I love all my students. So next chemo will be Thursday, March 5th. I have an appointment before that. I have an appointment Tuesday for post-op with the surgeon, Dr. Mahaney, where she will take off the remaining steri strips on my neck and over my port. The nurse had to take off a couple steri strips. I think I mentioned that in the little video before. And then Thursday, March 5th in the morning, I actually have an appointment with the genetic counselor to get the blood drawn for them to do genetic testing and find out if this is actually a BRCA1 or BRCA2 or other genetic form of cancer. So anyway, I love you guys. Thank you so much for all of the support. I got tons of texts and messages today. I had people sending me scripture verses, prayers that they had spoken for me, just funny memes or pictures, things to make me laugh, all sorts of things, and it all helps a lot. I actually felt completely calm and peaceful today the whole time there. Having said that, I think my blood pressure was 145/79 when the guy took it, and my blood pressure is usually about 110/64. So apparently I was a little more stressed than I thought, but I didn't feel stressed, and it all went really well, and they're wonderful people there, and now I have 2 weeks to see what happens. I do want to say that they talked to me a lot about avoiding crowds, about making sure I don't get cuts or scrapes, about trying to avoid infection. They told me I can teach, but that I should use hand sanitizer a ton, and tell my students already know this, that I'm going to be very cautious, and I may even, at some point, if my white counts go too low, I may have to start wearing a mask everywhere. So if I don't go to some of the things around here, there's a race on Saturday that I was signed up for, and I just don't know how I'm going to feel. And I also, as much as I love to hug people, it's probably a bad idea for me to be hugging a bunch of people. So please bear with me over the next few months. I'm going to have to become, in some ways, a teeny bit of a hermit, especially as I get into the weekly chemos in April. Okay, love you guys. Good night, and thank you so much for praying and supporting me. Praying for me and supporting me.